Hi, what's up guys? This is the third part of the tutorial series for Android development, and in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to run an Android application and some of the basic GUI elements. We've been working on this Android simple calculator. It's not going to be a much flashy calculator with buttons and all those stuff. It's just going to be a simple calculator which is just going to perform one or two functions, just to give you an idea of how Android applications are developed, some basic ones. So first of all, to run Android applications you need to create an emulator, a virtual device. Now this virtual device is something that's going to run your Android applications for testing purposes. So we can run that by clicking the window button, the clicking the window menu, and in this menu there is an AVD manager, Android Virtual Device Manager. Now this manager is used to create a new or manage your existing virtual devices. You can create as many devices as you want, but for this purpose we're just going to create one for this tutorial actually. So we're going to name it as test phone, and then we're going to select an API for the target. We're working on Android 2.3.3, so this is only available, but since you would be working on other Android APIs, or I might work on other Android APIs in later tutorials, so there would be more over here. So we'll just click this and set the SD card storage to 256 MB. That should be more than enough. Alright, um, now you can only specify the name without spaces, so don't put spaces in here. Alright, now we're going to set the resolution to HVGA. Since I have a HVGA phone, so to actually test it on the phone I need this, so I will develop with respect to this phone. You can specify any resolution of the phone that you have, or anything that you're targeting, or you can specify your resolution yourself. It's fairly simple. So we're going to go with HVGA. Now it says that alright, I already have this, so we're going to name it to test phone 2. Now we just create the Android device. Alright, now this is created. Now we're going to start it, and on the first startup it's going to take a hell lot of time, because it's setting up the operating system and then starting it from the start, so from scratch actually. So it's going to take a lot of time, but once it's loaded, every application that you're going to develop, when you click the test, when you click run, it would just run in this emulator. If you don't close the emulator, it's gonna run fairly fast, but if you close the emulator, it's gonna take a lot of time again to load the emulator and then run the application. So it's better to just leave the emulator running and not close it. So it's gonna take a lot of time, so I'll pause it and then get back to you when it's done. Alright, now the emulator has finished loading, and as you can see, it is the complete operating system. You have some basic applications that come with the Android, and you can run them to see, and they pretty much work. So excuse me. So now you have a QWERTY keyboard on your right hand side, and this is going to emulate the actual QWERTY keyboard if you have it on your phone, and these are some of the buttons that are available on the phones. You can see that these work as well, for example. Alright, so excuse me. Now we're going to run the application, our application on the emulator. You can see that we have a small play button over here. You can just click this play button, or you can right click the project, and under the run as menu there is an option for Android application. We have to run it as an Android application. So when we run it as an Emulator application, it just compiles it, and it's compiling, and you can see it on the emulator. Alright, so as you can see, our application doesn't do much, it just displays the hello world, but it's working on the phone. So it would appear almost exactly on your phone as it is appearing in the simulator. We're going to click back. Right. Now I'm going to explain to you some of the basic buttons and some of the basic GUI elements of the Android. We're going to develop a simple calculator. It's not going to be a very fancy calculator, not going to do much, it's not going to be of any use, but it's going to give you a basic idea how applications are developed in Android, just to run some basic applications. Over here you can see that this is an outline menu. Now it shows the outline of all the GUI elements that are currently there. Now when you click it, you can see that this hello world activity, the text field is selected. Everything you add over here is going to appear over here as well. Now one thing you should know is that this is kind of like HTML. If you have worked with HTML, you would know that everything goes in the line. If you put pictures, it's not going to appear sideways, or you can't place them anywhere you like. You have to design proper fields and divs for that. What divs do, somewhat similar function is done with the linear layouts, and these are some of the layouts that you can do. You can create a frame layout and you can place buttons in there. It doesn't appear because the frame layout, it didn't actually go in the frame layout. Alright, so now this is actually in the frame layout. Excuse me. Now the text is appearing in the frame layout. This is a hierarchical view, so it shows which belongs to which group. If the default layout is the linear layout is the vertical, as you can see with small lines in the vertical direction. Now this vertical layout means that anything you place, any buttons that you place, they're going to appear in the vertical direction. You can't place them sideways. So if you wish to place them sideways, you have to put a linear layout that is in horizontal view. So when you move these buttons there, as you can see, now these buttons are part of the linear layout that is in the horizontal view, in the horizontal direction, and these buttons are appearing sideways. So you have to develop the basic GUI with a combination of all these things, the layouts and then the widgets and everything. So we're just gonna delete all these for now because we don't really want them, and we're going to start developing our basic application. Alright, so now we're going to develop the application. So we're just gonna delete all these. Okay, and well, I have this properties over here. If you don't, this properties shows all the basic properties that we can also edit through the XML file, but it's an easy way to edit all the properties. Well, if you don't see this, then you can launch the properties from here. You can either find it over here by clicking this small button, or if you don't still find it over here, then you can go to other, and under general there is properties but icon over here, so you can select it from there. But since I have already visible, I have it visible. Okay, so now we're going to design a horizontal layout, and because we want the buttons to be aligned horizontally, and other than that, we want, for first of all, let's place these buttons. We're going to put three buttons because we're going to have one for add, one for subtract, and one for clear. So, and then we're going to have some text fields. Now these are various types of text fields with maskings. So we're going to be displaying only numbers, so we'll select the number decimal text field. Now if we put it over here, you can see that it's going to appear below the text, below the buttons, which is the linear layout. So if you move in the outline view, if you move the edit text above linear layout, or rather move that down, move the linear layout down, you see the text field has been placed above the buttons. So we're going to need another text field because we're going to add two numbers. So That's just about it. That's the basic GUI that we need for the application. Now, as you can see that we've designed this layout by simple drag and drop. Now, when we were doing this, the Eclipse has created itself the all the respective entries in the main XML file. You can see there are three buttons and there are two edit text boxes, which are the input text boxes. Now, I will explain to you these properties in the next tutorial, so stay tuned. And we're going to talk about a bit about programming and linking these buttons with actual Java code. So see you then.